stop everything you're doing. Just when you thought the beef between 50 Cent and the Harris family couldn't get any more personal, Curtis Jackson has reportedly dropped a bombshell that has the entire industry questioning the very fabric of the Grand Hustle empire. We aren't talking about album sales or street credibility anymore. We are talking about bloodlines. 50 Cent. The undisputed king of internet trolling and investigative petty has allegedly surfaced with claims regarding DNA results that target the relationship between T.I. and his son, King Harris. For months, we've watched King Harris distance himself from his silver spoon upbringing, trying to prove he's built differently. But according to the latest whispers coming out of the Geonet camp, the difference might be biological. Is this just 50 Cent doing what he does best, disturbing the peace to promote a new documentary? Or has he actually stumbled upon a secret that the Harris family has kept under wraps for 2 decades? The tension between Tip and his son has been playing out in front of the cameras for years. From heated arguments on Friends and Family Hustle to physical altercations at football games. But this new allegation changes the narrative entirely. If there is even a shred of truth to these claims, it doesn't just damage a reputation, it deconstructs a legacy. Tonight, we are peeling back the layers of this viral storm. We're looking at the evidence 50 claims to have, the cryptic responses coming from the Tiny and Tip, and why King Harris's recent behavior might have been the catalyst for this entire investigation. Put your headphones on and lock in, because the details we've uncovered are about to flip everything you thought you knew about the Prince of the South. The history of hip-hop is littered with rivalries, but when Curtis 50 Cent Jackson enters the arena, the rules of engagement change entirely. Known globally as the ultimate troll, 50 Cent's tactics are rarely random. He operates like a surgeon of social media, finding the exact pressure point where an opponent is most vulnerable. This time, his sights are set on Atlanta's royalty, Clifford T.I. Harris and his son, King Harris. What started as a professional disagreement has spiraled into a deeply personal war involving claims of DNA results and questioned bloodlines. But to understand how we got to this explosive point, we have to look at the cracks that were already forming within the Harris empire. The spark was ignited not by 50 Cent, but by King Harris's own desperate attempt to distance himself from his privileged upbringing. For the past year, King has been a permanent fixture in the headlines, not for his music, but for his volatile behavior. His narrative has been consistent. Despite being born into wealth, he claims his spirit belongs to the streets. However, this identity crisis reached a breaking point during a viral video at a football game, where King was seen in a heated physical altercation with his father. While the public saw a rebellious teenager, 50 Cent saw a golden opportunity. 50 Cent has a long-standing grievance with T.I., rooted in the decade-long debate over who truly owns the title of the King of the South. When the footage of the family infighting went viral, 50 didn't just laugh, he began to theorize. Using his massive social media platform, he started dropping cryptic hints, suggesting that King's radical departure from T.I.'s persona wasn't just teenage angst, but perhaps a biological mismatch. This is where the DNA narrative took root. 50 Cent began to publicly imply that the reason King doesn't fit the Harris mold is that he might not be a Harris at all. This is the hallmark of 50 Cent's psychological warfare. He understands that for a man like T.I., whose entire brand is built on family values and the Grand Hustle legacy, there is no insult more damaging than questioning his fatherhood. 50 began digging into the archives, unearthing industry rumors. From the early 2000s, a time when T.I. and his wife Tiny were reportedly navigating a rocky period in their relationship. By connecting these historical dots, 50 created a narrative that felt grounded in what-if scenarios, making it impossible for the public to ignore. King Harris's reaction only added fuel to the fire. Instead of maintaining a dignified silence, he took 2 live streams, visibly shaken and aggressive, screaming at the camera to prove his toughness. In the world of public perception, an overreaction is often interpreted as a lack of security. The more King fought to prove he was built differently, the more the audience leaned into 50 Cent's suggestion that he was overcompensating for a truth he didn't want to face. 50 exploited this masterfully, posting memes that compared King's features to other figures in the Atlanta scene, effectively turning a family's private struggle into a global guessing game. One of the most telling aspects of this early stage was T.I.'s uncharacteristic silence, usually the first to deliver a multisyllabic lecture on social media. Tip remained remarkably quiet as the DNA rumors gained momentum. This silence was treated as blood in the water. 50 Cent capitalized on the vacuum of information, claiming he had insider documents and receipts that he was saving for his next big documentary project. He framed himself not as a hater, but as an investigator, uncovering a secret that had been buried for 2 decades. The conflict has now moved beyond simple beef and into the territory of an investigative saga. Social media sleuths have begun their own forensic analysis, side by side, comparing photos of a young T.I. with King Luchin, looking for any shred of evidence to support or debunk 50's claims. 50 Cent's power lies in this exact phenomenon. He doesn't need to be 100% right. He only needs to plant a seed of doubt that grows on its own. He famously stated that King is trying too hard to be street because he knows he doesn't belong to the throne, a comment designed to sting T.I. more than anyone else. As we stand at the end of this first chapter, the Harris family legacy is under a microscope like never before. 50 Cent has successfully shifted the conversation from music and business to DNA and betrayal. The internet is now divided between those who think 50 has gone too far and those who are waiting with bated breath for the results he claims to possess. The tension is at an all-time high, and the stage is set for a reveal that could either cement 50 Cent as the ultimate truth teller or the most dangerous villain in hip-hop history. The narrative flow is moving toward the evidence itself. What are these documents 50 Cent keeps mentioning? And how did the sleuths of the internet find clues in 20-year-old footage? The storm is just beginning, as the initial shock of 50 Cent's allegations settled. The internet moved from disbelief to a meticulous, almost forensic examination of the claims. In this second chapter of the saga, the battle moved away from simple insults and into the territory of receipts. 50 Cent, a master of the slow burn reveal, didn't dump all his information at once. Instead, he began a strategic campaign of leaking snippets of information that he claimed were part of a larger investigative project. He began referring to himself as the industry's private investigator, and his target remained firmly locked on the Harris bloodline. The evidence, 50 Cent teased, was a calculated mix of timeline analysis and purported legal documents. He pointed specifically to the year 2004, a pivotal time for both T.I.'s career and his personal life. According to 50's narrative, there were gaps in the family history that didn't align with the public story of King's birth. He shared blurry images of what appeared to be medical records and cryptic correspondence from that era, claiming they were provided by a disgruntled former member of the Grand Hustle inner circle. While the authenticity of these documents was immediately questioned by legal experts, the court of public opinion had already convened. This is where the power of the echo chamber truly took over. Once 50 Cent planted the seed, he didn't have to do the heavy lifting anymore. The internet did it for him. Within 48 hours of his posts, DNA sleuths on TikTok and YouTube began producing thousands of hours of content. They analyzed every frame of the family hustle, looking for moments of tension or slips of the tongue from Tiny or T.I. that might suggest a hidden truth. They compared King's earlobes, jawline, and even his gait to those of T.I., trying to find biological inconsistencies. The narrative gained even more traction when 50 Cent began highlighting King's own behavior as behavioral evidence. He argued that King's extreme rebellion and his public rejection of his father's King persona were psychological red flags. 50's theory was simple: the boy is acting out because he knows the truth. By framing King's identity crisis as a biological reaction rather than typical teenage rebellion, 50 managed to pathologize the young man's entire life. He suggested that King's obsession with the streets was a subconscious attempt to find a father figure that didn't exist in the Harris household. While the evidence remained largely circumstantial, the sheer volume of the conversation made it feel real. This is the danger of the modern gossip cycle. When a rumor is repeated 1 million times, it begins to carry the weight of fact. 50 Cent leaned into this, posting memes of himself in a lab coat, holding test tubes with King's name on them. It was mocking, it was petty, but it was also incredibly effective at keeping the Harris family on the defensive. The The reaction from the industry was a mix of horror and fascination. Several high-profile rappers quietly stepped away from the conflict, fearful of 50's investigative reach. However, a few voices spoke out, accusing 50 Cent of family in a way that violated the unwritten codes of hip-hop. They argued that, even in the dirtiest beefs, children should be clement. But 50's response was characteristically cold. If they lied to the world for 20 years, the world deserves to know. He positioned himself as a truth-teller, regardless of how uncomfortable that truth might be. As the digital firestorm grew, the pressure on T.I. and Tiny became unbearable. Fans weren't just asking for new music anymore. They were demanding a Maury Povich moment. The comment sections of every post made by the Harris family were flooded with DNA emojis and questions about King's parentage. This created a visible strain on the family. King Harris, known for his short fuse, began getting into verbal altercations with fans in the streets and online, further validating 50's claim that the young man was cracking under the pressure. Of the lie, the most significant piece of echo chamber evidence came when an old interview of Tiny surfaced, where she discussed the complexities of her relationship with T.I. during their early years. Context was stripped away, and the clip was edited to make it look like a confession. 50 Cent shared the edited clip with the caption, "The truth has always been right in front of you." This was the tipping point. The rumor had now evolved from a 50 Cent troll into a widely accepted industry secret. In this part of the saga, we see how 50 Cent doesn't just use facts, he uses the absence of clarity. By focusing on a period of time that was already messy in public, he made his fabrications seem plausible. He turned T.I.'s private history into a weapon and turned King Harris into a victim of his own fame. The Harris family was no longer just fighting 50 Cent. They were fighting a global audience that had been convinced by a master manipulator that their family tree was a lie. The tension has moved from the screen to the soul of the Harris family. The receipts have been filed in the mind of the public, and the damage is widespread. But, as the saying goes, a cornered animal is the most dangerous. In the final part of our investigation, we will see how T.I. finally broke his silence, the legal threats that followed, and the ultimate fallout of a beef that changed the way we look at hip-hop dynasties forever. As the digital storm reached its peak, the narrative surrounding the Harris family shifted from curiosity to a state of absolute crisis. In this final act of the saga, we witness the devastating power of a rumor when it is wielded by a mastermind like 50 Cent. The DNA claims didn't just stay on social media, they began to affect the real-world dynamics of one of hip-hop's most celebrated families. The fallout was no longer just about public image yet. It was about the internal fracture of a father-son relationship that was already under immense pressure. T.I., who had maintained a strategic and philosophical silence for weeks, finally reached his breaking point. The King of the South could ignore insults about his music or his business dealings, but he could not ignore a global audience questioning the legitimacy of his son. In a legendary long-form response, T.I. addressed the situation without directly naming 50 Cent, but the message was clear. He spoke about the sanctity of the black family and the evil intent of those who seek to destroy what they cannot build. While T.I.'s words were eloquent, the shadow of doubt cast by 50 Cent's receipts was too long to be ignored. The public didn't want a lecture, they wanted a refutation. The most tragic victim of this fallout, however, was King Harris himself, caught between his father's legacy and 50 Cent's accusations. The young artist spiraled into a series of increasingly erratic public displays. The psychological weight of having millions of strangers debate your biological origin is a burden few could carry. King's insistence on being street became even more aggressive, a move many psychologists and industry veterans saw as a desperate attempt to claim an identity that 50 Cent was trying to take away from him. The rift between T.I. and King widened, with reports surfacing that the two were no longer speaking. As King reportedly began to question why his parents hadn't shut the rumors down with legal or medical proof immediately, 50 Cent, seeing the chaos he had created, didn't back off. Instead, he took a victory lap. He began promoting his latest documentary projects, using the engagement from the Harris feud to drive his numbers to record highs. This revealed the true nature of his game. It wasn't just about the DNA, it was about the attention economy. By turning a family's private life into a viral spectacle, 50 Cent proved that in the 2026 media landscape, controversy is the most valuable currency. He didn't need the DNA results to be real. He only needed the conversation to be constant. The legal threats finally materialized when the Harris family's legal team issued a cease and desist to several outlets that had amplified 50 Cent's claims. However, 50 himself remained largely untouched, shielded by the clever way he phrased his allegations, often framing them as questions or satire. This highlighted a dangerous new era in celebrity culture, where the truth is secondary to the narrative. The Harris family was forced into a no-win situation. If they took a DNA test and shared it, they would be validating a troll. If they didn't, the rumor would live forever. As we look at the long-term impact, the Harris legacy has been permanently altered. The family hustle brand, once seen as the gold standard for hip-hop excellence and unity, now carries a permanent asterisk. Every time King Harris releases a song or T.I. gives an interview, the comment sections will inevitably return to the 50 Cent claims. This is the scorched earth policy that 50 Cent has perfected. He doesn't just want to win a beef, he wants to rewrite your history. In the end, the 50 Cent versus the Harris family saga serves as a cautionary tale for the digital age. It shows how easily a decade of hard work and brand building can be dismantled by a few well-placed doubts and a master manipulator of the algorithm. Whether there was ever any truth to the DNA claims, or if it was the greatest work of fiction in hip-hop history, the result is the same. The bond has been tested, the public has been entertained, and the King of New York has once again proven that he is the most dangerous man in the industry. The curtains close on this chapter with the Harris family attempting to rebuild in private, while 50 Cent moves on to his next target. The saga reminds us that in the world of high-stakes hip-hop, your bloodline is just another thing that can be weaponized. The truth may eventually come out in a courtroom or a clinic, but in the streets of the internet, the story 50 Cent told has already become a part of hip-hop folklore. The lesson is clear: protect your legacy, because once 50 Cent finds a crack in the armor, he won't stop until the whole suit is in pieces. This story is far from over, and we want to hear from you. Is 50 Cent taking things too far by bringing family and DNA into the mix? Or is he just exposing a truth that's been hidden for years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading every single one. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive hip-hop investigations. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a bombshell update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.